Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi are inspecting foreign-owned spaza shops and establishments suspected of selling counterfeit goods. Several calls have been made by various people and organizations for an investigation of the shops. Newsroom Africa's Slethiwe Ndlovu joins us now live from Durban with those details. Slethiwe, a very good afternoon to you. Now, where exactly is this raid happening and what are the Commissioner and the Premier looking for?
So this raid is currently happening at Victoria Street here in Durban. There is no report as yet in terms of what the KZN Premier Thami Ntuli is looking for. However, there's been quite a number of questions, as you can hear right now, that are being asked to the person that is behind the counter. There's been various conversations that have been happening regarding the cigarettes that you can see on the counter. He's also been asked to call the shop owner just to find out a few things. Particularly, you're looking at those cigarettes, you're looking at the registration of the shop, and also just a few things that are being sold here. As you've already mentioned, just a couple of weeks ago, we did report that there are heightened inspections that are happening here in KZN due to, obviously those 6 children that were reported to have allegedly lost their lives after allegedly consuming snacks that were bought in a local spaza shop in Gauteng. We heard from the MEC of COGTA just a couple of weeks ago to say that KZN should also be careful because we also have quite a few spaza shops in our townships rather, and therefore we should also be careful so as to not see the same thing that is happening now in Gauteng. Now, just yesterday, we also heard from the Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, who did mention that the toxicology report did come back to say that there were the cause of death, rather, is now known to be organophosphate. So we're just going to try and move outside. As you can see, this is the Premier of KZN, as we said, continuing with that inspection that is happening here in Victoria Street. We're just going to try and bring in the Premier just so that we can have a conversation. Of course, he is still engaged in this inspection. Premier, thank you so much for speaking to us this afternoon. I think firstly, let's start off with what prompted this inspection. What are the reasons behind this inspection?
No, it's part of the operations. In fact, we have pledged the Province of KwaZulu-Natal with the police. We want to ensure that the stuff that is sold in these shops, they are not expired, and they are products that are legal in our country or in our province. You know that we have incidents wherein children were poisoned by the stuff that they bought in these tuck shops. So we're making a point that people are actually sold something which is legal, and they actually sold something which is quality, something which is not going, in fact, to lead them to death. That is why we're doing this. At the same time, because some of the shops, they are owned by the foreign nationals, we also check the status of them, whether they trade legally or whether in their trading they have the documents of being here in the country.
Perhaps to bring it back to the shop that we have right behind you, is he the shop owner? What is he saying particularly about those cigarettes that were found? And also, is he saying that he is registered to actually continue to sell some of the products that are here?
Well, the police are going to continue with investigation because the one who's here is saying is not the owner, but is reluctant to also call the owner while he says the owner is around. But what we have seen here is the cigarette with barcodes that doesn't match the cigarette. You see, when you check the barcode, it shows a jacket. It shows a different item altogether, which shows that this something is fishy. It might be something which has been manufactured illegally and is sold illegally.
Perhaps lastly, Premier, before we let you go, of course, the issue of counterfeit goods has been a conversation for quite some time now. From the government, what are the plans there that are going to come from the government besides this inspection, just to make sure that people do understand that this is a serious situation when it comes to counterfeit goods?
I think we need to be stricter in borders and also in the ports, because that is where things escape. If the government can be able, in fact, to be strict in those areas, I think we'll be able to arrest the actually importing of illegal items into our province or into our country.
Premier, let's let you go. Of course, you are still continuing with that inspection that's happening right now. That was the KZN Premier Tamintuli, and the conversation that is coming from, that report is that they are still continuing with the inspection that is happening here at Victoria Street to try, and find out if the people that are selling in those, shops are registered to actually sell certain products. We also heard him mention that the person that is behind the counter is a bit reluctant to speak. They've asked him if he is the shop owner, and he doesn't seem to have a straight answer in terms of whether he's the shop owner. And also just about those cigarettes that were found, you did hear that he's also running away from those questions. This is obviously something that is not new. If you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, there's been quite a few inspections that have been happening in Gauteng, and the same thing that we're seeing now is something that has been happening in Gauteng, where you're not really getting answers in terms of who really owns those shops. Are they registered? Are they selling food that is fit for human consumption? Of course, you will remember just a couple of weeks ago, we also spoke to KZN chairperson of the Action SA, and what he was saying was that he wants a thorough probe to happen when you are looking at foreign-owned spaza shops, particularly because, one, he's not sure whether those shops are registered, and two, he's not sure whether the food that is being sold is fit for human consumption. Perhaps let's just try to just give you another look of what we can see here at the mall. There are quite a number of shops, as you can see here in the Victoria streets. Obviously, a lot of people have also gathered to try and find out, what is happening. Of course, they can see visibility from the Premier. Maybe just also looking at, what we can see right now. You can see there's quite a few products. They're not sure as yet whether they are, being sold legally in terms of the shop owner. As you can see, it is a bit dark outside, but just this aisle where we are, there's a lot of things that are being sold here. Also t-shirts, branded t-shirts. In fact, we are going to try and bring in someone to speak to us about, whether these shops that they have here, are, registered. Sisi Sanmon, ngicela ukhulume nathi ngokuthi lana itole enjani ekhona.
Itole khona la igcwele zabantu bokufika. Yes.
Lezi itole igcwele la zidayisa ini ma?
Khona idayisa ugwayi, idayisa impahla, njengoba ubona nje la kokunye insipho. Yes.
Lezi edayisa ukudla la mhlambe nike nikuthenge kunjani anikaze nibe nenkinga?
Ayakaze saba nenkinga sijwayele ukuthenga sikudle ku right.
Okay, masiyabonga kakhulu ngokukhuluma nathi. That's one of the ladies that we have here that is working in this island. She's telling us that most of the shops that we have here in this passage are actually owned by foreign people. And she's saying that there's a lot of products that are being sold here. As you saw, there's t-shirts. We walked earlier on into a shop that had cigarettes. There's also cleaning products. We are going to try a bit later on, just to bring in the Premier once again, just to find out about some of his findings. Of course, he is still continuing with that inspection in order to find out whether those shops are registered, whether they are selling products that should be sold. And also, we're just going to be looking at some of the food that is sold there. As I mentioned earlier on, of course, that is a huge debate right now, considering the fact that 6 children have lost their lives a couple of weeks ago due to allegedly consuming snacks that were bought at a local spaza shop in Gauteng.
All right, Slethiwe Ndlovu, certainly a lot of work still cut out for government with regards to cleaning up and ensuring that counterfeit goods are not making their way throughout these shops in South Africa. That's Slethiwe speaking to us there from Victoria Street in Durban. Now, staying